Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.
Welcome, everyone, to Dr. Pillai's Religion of Religions YouTube channel. The program we're about to do right now is a planetary puja. This is an in-depth puja in which we're going to honor all of the planets. We're going to honor the stars they're in, the archetypes that rule those stars, the planet that rules those stars, as well as the planet that rules the sign that the different planets are in. So it is an in-depth puja, and in doing this, it helps us to maybe see some of the interconnections that exist among some of the planets during this particular day. We're using the chart of now based on my current location, which is here in Florida. My name is Swamini Valli. I am a Pillai Center teacher and also an AstroVed astrologer. I'm very happy to host this program Monday through Friday. Dr. Pillai has said that all of the planets and the stars are more than just objects in outer space. There's also a divine light being associated with each of them. And in doing the puja, we are honoring those light beings and invoking their blessings to come into our lives and into our world. We're using the South Indian style of chart. This is a style of chart where the chart is in a square format. And these little boxes that you see, each of them represents a particular zodiac sign. There is a link to a tutorial video below this video if you are not familiar with the South Indian style chart and want to learn more about it. Today, the ascendant, or the sign coming up on the eastern horizon at the moment in my location in Florida, this is represented by the AC, is in the sign of Virgo. We'll start, when we start working with the chart, we'll start with the ascendant, and then we're going to go in a clockwise direction around the chart. We'll stop at each sign that has a planet in it. This is Libra, that has K2, and then we'll go on. This is Capricorn, that today has Pluto, the moon, and Saturn. Then we go up to Pisces, which has Neptune and Jupiter, over to Aries, which has Rahu, Uranus, and Mars, and then down to Cancer, which has Venus and the Sun, and we'll finish with Leo, that has Mercury in it. So in order to do this puja, I have on a side table here a little blackboard, and I have drawn this chart in chalk on the blackboard. Dr. Pillai, when he first taught this puja to myself and to Raja, Meena Malloy's brother, many years ago, he told us to get a blackboard and to draw the chart on the blackboard. And then in doing the puja, we would offer the flower petals right on top of the blackboard, on top of the planets in the positions that they're in. So I have on my side table, I have the blackboard with the chart drawn on it. I have a bowl of fresh flower petals. I have a lit tea light candle. I have a bell. I have a hand fan, and I have a little bowl of water. So these are all things I'm going to use as we do the puja. You're welcome to join in at home or simply to listen to it. Dr. Pillai has said the names of all these divine beings is in and of itself a quantum sound or a mantra. So even just listening to the puja can bring benefit and blessings into someone's life, whether you're watching it live or watching the replay later. So I'm going to start with first taking the little container of water, dipping the ring finger of my right hand in it a few times, and sprinkling little drops of water on each side of the blackboard, sprinkling a few drops of water on top of myself, and sprinkling a few drops of waters out towards space, towards all of you, so that whether you're watching it live or watching it on a replay, all of us are now participating in the puja in a sacred protected space. Next, we're going to start with honoring Ganesha, the archetype who removes obstacles, and Ganesha is also a patron of astrology. We'll invoke him with the sound I-N-G, G-U-N-G. Om Sring Gang, Om Sring Gang, Om Sring Gang. We ask Ganesha to come and to remove all obstacles for all of us in doing this puja and in helping this puja to spread and be something that's helpful to many people. Now we invoke a Tamil chant asking all of the planets to be beneficial towards us. And I have put a link to that chant up above earlier in the chat if you're not familiar with it. Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atiyar Avar Kumikave. We ask all of the planets and the stars and divine beings we're about to invoke to be beneficial today towards us and towards our planet. We thank St. Yanis Samundar for teaching this chant, and we are grateful to Dr. Pillai for sharing it with us. Now we turn our attention to the time Shaktis that are active at the moment in my local area here in Florida. We're going to honor the planet that rules the day, the star that the moon is in, the Tithi or the moon phase that's active right now, the planet that rules the hour, and we're also going to honor the yoga and the Karana time elements that are active right now. We start with honoring the planet that rules the day. Today is Mercury in this area, and today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. We honor Mercury, and I put the flower petals on top of Mercury as we chant for him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now we invoke the star or nakshatra that the moon is in. At the moment, the moon has moved into the star Uttarashada. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Now we invoke the Tithi or the moon phase. The moment in this area, we are in the 14th waxing moon, called Chaturdasi in Sanskrit. Dr. Pillai said we would use the Sanskrit name of the moon phase, followed by the word Devi, invoking the light being associated with that moon phase. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Chaturdasi Devye Namaha. Om Chaturdasi Devye Namaha. Om Chaturdasi Devye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules the hour. In my local area, right now we are in an hour that's ruled by Jupiter. I honor Jupiter and put the flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. For the yoga and the karana, Dr. Pillai said we would not use flower petals. We would simply say their names 3 times. The yoga that's active right now is one called Priti, which has energies that are contented. Priti, Priti, Priti. And the karana that's active right now is one called Garisha, which has energy of increased effort. Garisha, Garisha, Garisha. Now that we've invoked the active time elements, we turn our attention to the chart of the moment. As I mentioned at the beginning, we start with the ascendant sign, which right now is in Kanya or Virgo. Dr. Pillai said we would always start with honoring the planet that rules the ascendant sign. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. We're going to honor Mercury, and I'll put flower petals on top of him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. There aren't any planets in Virgo, so we start here and we go in a clockwise direction to the first Rasi or sign that has a planet in it. This is Libra, which today has Ketu in it. We honor Ketu, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Om Ketave Namaha. Ketu is in a star called Vishaka. This is a star that can give us energies and blessings for victory, success, triumph. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Ketu. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Om Vishakaye Namaha. Vishaka star is ruled by a pair of archetypes, Indra and Agni. Indra can give blessings of leadership and courage, and Agni can give blessings for transformation and purification. We invoke their blessings, and I put the flower petals on top of Ketu. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Om Indra Agniye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Vishaka star, which is Jupiter. I put the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Libra, which is Venus. I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Tula or Libra, a sign with energies of balance and harmony. Today containing Ketu, sometimes called the saintly planet. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Makara or Capricorn, which today has Pluto retrograde, the moon, and Saturn retrograde. When planets are retrograde, they are extra powerful. We're using the 3 outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because earlier this year, Dr. Pillai commissioned statues for all 3 of them and had those statues energized in fire labs and then put them into his temple in India. So we're honoring them with the mantras that were used in those fire labs. So we're honoring Pluto, and the mantra we're going to use is Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. I put the flower petals on Pluto. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Now we're going to honor the moon next, because Pluto and the moon are both in the same star right now. And after we invoke the moon, then we'll do the star. We invoke the moon. I put flower petals on him. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Both Pluto and the moon are in a star called Uttarashada. This is a star that gives blessings for success and can give blessings for long-lasting success. And a lot of these blessings can be especially activated if we remember to be grateful for the blessings that we do already have. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals across Pluto and the moon. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Om Uttarashadaye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the 10 Visvadevas, archetypes who each embody a particular divine universal principle. We ask for their blessings, and I put the flower petals across Pluto and the moon. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om. Now we honor Saturn for being in Capricorn. I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Saturn is in a star called Dhanishta. This is a star that can give blessings for wealth, music, and good reputation. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Saturn. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Dhanishta star is ruled by the 8 Vasus, light beings who each rule different spheres of existence. We honor them, and I put the flower petals on top of Saturn. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Dhanishta star is ruled by Mars. We honor Mars, and I put flower petals on top of him. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Capricorn, which is Saturn. Again, we invoke Saturn, and I put more flower petals on top of him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Makara or Capricorn, a sign that can activate ancient past life skills and abilities. Today containing Pluto, a planet that can help with rationality and science, and the moon, which is our mind and our emotions, and Saturn, a planet that can help with patience, organization, compassion, service. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Meena or Pisces, which today contains Neptune retrograde and also Jupiter, who is retrograde. Again, when planets are retrograde, they are extra powerful. We start with honoring Neptune, and I put flower petals on top of him. The mantra we're using for Neptune is Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Neptune is in a star called Purva Bhadrapada. This is a star with the fire of Kundalini and energies for purification. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Neptune. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada's star is ruled by an archetype called Aja Ekapada. Among other things, he can help us to experience deeper levels of silence and forgiveness. We honor this archetype, and I put flower petals on top of Neptune. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada's star is ruled by Jupiter. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor Jupiter for being in Pisces. Again, we honor him, and I put more flower petals on Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Jupiter is in a star called Uttara Bhadrapada. Dr. Pillai says this is a star that can give blessings for business development. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by an archetype called Arbundya. Among other things, he's an archetype that can help to protect valuables and treasures. We ask for his blessings to protect our precious things, our treasures, our valuables. I put the flower petals on top of Jupiter. Om Arbundyaye Namaha. Om Arbundyaye Namaha. Om Arbundyaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Meena, or Pisces, is ruled by Jupiter. Again, we honor Jupiter, and I put more flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Meena, or Pisces, the sign that has energies that are the most transcendental and metaphysical of all the zodiac signs. Today containing Neptune, a planet that can help with intuition and our ability to understand our own inner self. And Jupiter, planet that can connect us with enlightened spiritual teachings, excellent spiritual teachers, and help us in our relationship with our spiritual community. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi, or sign with the planet in it, is Misha, or Aries, which today contains Rahu, Uranus, and Mars. Rahu and Uranus are in the same star, so we will invoke both of those planets before we invoke the star. We start with Rahu, and I put flower petals on him. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Now we honor Uranus, and I put flower petals on him. The mantra we use for Uranus is Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Hram Prajapataye Namaha. Now we invoke the star that Rahu and Uranus are both in. This is a star called Bharani. We invoke this star, and I put the flower petals across Rahu and Uranus. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Bharani's star is ruled by Yama. Among other things, Yama is an archetype of justice. We honor him, and I put the flower petals across Rahu and Uranus. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Bharani's star is ruled by Venus. We honor Venus, and I put flower petals on him. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Next, we honor Mars for being in Aries. I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Mars is in the star of Kritika, a star with energies of truth. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Mars. Om Kritikaye Namaha. Om Kritikaye Namaha. Om Kritikaye Namaha. Kritika's star is ruled by Agni, the archetype of fire. We honor Agni, and I put the flower petals on top of Mars. Om Agnihe Namaha. Om Agnihe Namaha. Om Agnihe Namaha. Kritika's star is ruled by the sun. We honor the sun, and I put flower petals on him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Misha or Aries, which is Mars. Again, we honor Mars, and I put more flower petals on top of him. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Misha or Aries, a fire sign and a sign with very active energy. Today containing Rahu, a planet that can help us make friends with new technologies. Uranus, a planet that can help with intelligence and innovation, and also a planet that helps with astrology. And Mars, a planet that has energies of both the warrior and the healer. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The planet in it is Karkata or Cancer, which today contains Venus and the Sun. We start with honoring Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Today, Venus is in a star called Pushya. This is a star considered to be the most spiritually auspicious of all the stars. We honor Pushya, and I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Om Pushyaye Namaha. Pushya star is ruled by Brihaspati, a form of Jupiter in which he is an excellent spiritual teacher, sometimes teaching either some of the other archetypes. We honor him, and I put the flower petals on top of Venus. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Om Brihaspataye Namaha. Pushya star is ruled by Saturn. We honor Saturn, and I put flower petals on him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Now we honor the sun for being in Cancer. I put the flower petals on the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. The sun is in a star called Aslesha, a star of mystical power. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of the sun. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Om Asleshaye Namaha. Aslesha star is ruled by the Nagas, ancient beings who have great wisdom and know secrets about cycles of time. We invoke their blessings, and I put the flower petals on top of the sun. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Om Nagasye Namaha. Aslesha star is ruled by Mercury. We honor Mercury, and I put the flower petals on top of him. Om Purvapagunaye Namaha. Om Purvapagunaye Namaha. Om excuse me, we're honoring Mercury. I'm so sorry. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Karkata or Cancer, the most emotionally sensitive of all the zodiac signs, which is ruled by the moon. We honor the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Now we pause for a moment and reflect on Karkata or Cancer, the most emotionally sensitive, today containing Venus, planet of happiness, diplomacy, and enjoyment of material plane comforts, as well as the arts, and the sun, which is our soul, and also so important for our health, as the sun has life-affirming energies. The sun is also important for our sense of cheerfulness. In English, we have an expression, someone has a sunny disposition. That's a very cheerful person, a person we enjoy to be around. We pause for a moment and reflect on all of this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Simha or Leo, which today contains Mercury. We honor Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Mercury is in a star called Purva Paguni, one of the stars of relationship energy, and also a star of rest and relaxation. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on top of Mercury. Om Purva Pagunaye Namaha. Om Purva Pagunaye Namaha. Om Purvapalgunaye Namaha. Purvapalguni star is ruled by an archetype called Bhagya, an archetype who helps give blessings for good fortune. We honor him, and I put the flower petals on top of Mercury. Om Bhagyaye Namaha. Om Bhagyaye Namaha. Om Bhagyaye Namaha. Purvapalguni star is ruled by Venus. We honor Venus, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Simha or Leo, which is the sun. I put the flower petals on the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Simha or Leo, a sign with energies of power and great energy. We pause for a moment and reflect on him containing Mercury, planet of communication, planet of helping us with commercial success, as Mercury rules all forms of buying and selling, and also the planet that helps us with analysis and seeing patterns and things. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Now I'm taking the lit tea light and I'm holding it above the chalkboard that has the chart drawn on it, and it has the piles of flower petals. And I'm taking it around the chart in the air 3 times in a clockwise direction, offering the element of light to all of these divine. Next, I'm taking a little hand fan. Some of you could use a lit incense stick, but I have a housemate who's sensitive to scent. So I am just using a little hand fan and waving that in the air above the chart 3 times, offering the element of air and a cooling breeze to all these divine beings. And now I'm going to take a bell and offer the element of sound, ringing it around the chart 3 times. Now I make prayer hands and I pray to all of these divine beings that we have just invoked, asking them to bless all of us, to bless our families, our friends, our colleagues, our housemates, our neighborhoods, our communities, our countries, our workplaces, our schools. I ask them to bless the entire planet. I pray to them, may everyone on this planet have healthy food to eat, clean water to drink, a safe place to live, clean air to breathe, good clothes to wear, access to health care, good education, sustainable jobs, and may everyone on the planet have love in their life, now and always. I pray for enlightened leaders, enlightened citizens, enlightened laws, enlightened countries, and entire enlightened civilizations. And I make a bow. You can continue for a minute to make your own prayers while in silence, and then I will open for some short Q&A. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment. Peace, peace, peace. May we all go about our day or our evening in peace. Right now, I can answer a few questions if you post them in the chat. So thank you for being here. I appreciate your participation, your support, and just checking the chat for questions. I'm grateful to Dr. Pillai for sponsoring the Religion of Religions channel and for the opportunity to do this puja Monday through Friday on the channel. Looks like a quiet day today, not seeing any questions posted in the chat, which is okay. Which is okay. Give it another moment. If you're new here, we very much appreciate it if you hit the like button on the video, and also if you subscribe to the channel, as this helps the YouTube algorithm, suggest this channel to more people. Dr. Pillai does want for this channel to continue to grow, and his vision is for someday for there to be programming 24/7 on this channel. We have programs on this channel every day for divine light and healing. Another program that we have daily is a communion program with Jesus. On Wednesdays, before this program, we have an Angali program to Goddess Angali. And on Saturdays, Ronnie, another Pillai Center teacher, does a presentation about an archetype or a saint, does a little in-depth dive into different ones every Saturday. So please explore the other offerings that are on this channel as well. Okay, I see people saying thank you. I see other people going over to the Ganesha prayer, which I think is on the Pillai Center Practice YouTube right now. They're doing a daily program to help people prepare for the upcoming Ganesha's birthday, which is coming up towards the end of this month. Melissa saying, thank you, Swamini Valli, for these insightful pujas. Thank you as well. These are in-depth pujas. They're not really a kind of beginner type of puja. But I know that some of you have been listening to Dr. Pillai talk about astrology for several years. And some of you, I think, I'm sure must be older souls to sit through a program like this. And you have probably been exposed to astrology in mystery school settings in places like Atlantis or Egypt or Tibet or Taoism or Buddhism. Many, many traditions have done teachings about astrology. And even in the Jewish tradition, it said that the temple that Jesus went to in Jerusalem back in the day had on the floor of that temple the zodiac signs in beautiful mosaic. So there's, it's been part of many, many cultures for many, many centuries. So thank you for joining us. I feel like we're contributing some positive energy into the energy grid on the planet. I know that we have people in different states and even different countries and different continents, and I appreciate all of that. All right, I like to keep this program on schedule, and I know other people are hopping off to do other things. So I'll go ahead and close it for now, as I'm not seeing questions today, and I'll be here again tomorrow. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. May light encompass all.